Hey guys, I'm in the tunnel again this morning. I'm pretty much going to be here for the rest of the year. But I wanted to kind of show you the difference between the tomato plants yesterday versus today. So yesterday you saw me plant all of these tomatoes and I planted them on their side. Because the ground underneath this tunnel, so the top, you know, maybe 6 inches is good. But I wanted to plant the tomatoes deeper than that because tomatoes really appreciate being planted very deep because they can grow roots all along their stems so that their root system can just be that much stronger. But I didn't have the ability in this high tunnel to plant as deep as I wanted to because the soil at the bottom, first of all, it's early spring, so the soil underneath is going to be colder than the soil in the top, so I didn't want to shock my plants. And also the soil at that depth is just gravelly here in this area, so I knew that the soil on top was going to be really good because it's gotten 2 rounds now of really good compost. So what I did was I laid my plants out horizontally and planted them a good 8 inches, 6 to 8 inches under the soil, but horizontal. And you can see this morning that they're already starting to turn up towards the sun. So here in probably by the end of the day, if not by tomorrow, you wouldn't even be able to tell that they were planted on their side. They're just gonna look normal straight up. So this is the first time that I've planted in a pot like this. This is a nice big pot. Look, you can see the root system coming out of the bottom. But normally I don't pot up my tomatoes to be this large. They're usually like this big when I transplant, but look how beautiful and healthy this transplant is. I'm so happy with this. I just think plants are cool. And I think I have more tomatoes than will fit in here because the original plan was for 5 rows. And since we did the workshop in here and I kind of turned a quarter of it into the prop house, I lost 2 rows, which is unfortunate, but you gotta do what you gotta do, because if I didn't get this grow space in here, I wouldn't be able to do the amount of plants that I can do now. So you win some, you lose some. So I cleaned out this little kiddie pool that I bought for the ducks and they never really used it. Hunter has been begging me every single day. He's like, can we swim today? Is it warm enough to go swimming? Is today the day we're gonna go swim? I've told you that it's summertime is swimming, but you know what? Today feels like summertime, okay? The high's like 80 degrees. We've been cooped up all winter and spring, so I think I'm gonna fill that up and let them swim because you know what? Kids really don't get cold anyway. I'll let the sun heat it up for a little bit before I break the news to them, but I think this is going to be a great reaction. But in the meantime, I'm moving all my dahlia tubers that I had for cuttings. Let me show you. So a way to multiply some of my favorite varieties, I've been taking cuttings, and you guys, I've got hundreds of cuttings. Dahlias root really easily. Like this is just one tray of probably at least 20 trays that I have. So dahlia season is going to be amazing this year because I've also bought a lot of dahlias this year because I think the reason that I like them so much is because it's like a collector's item. Like the reason why I love tomatoes, which I do. I love tomatoes. They're delicious. But I like to collect. This is like the Pokemon card of a gardener, okay? I gotta catch them all. I gotta have them all. I need to see them. I need to taste them. I need to collect them. So, I have 2 hoarding problems. Tomatoes and dahlias. But you know what? They give me stuff, so it's fine, right?
Really? swim in this. I had a dream about this earlier.
You had a dream about it?
Yeah.
What do you think? Are you happy?
Yeah.
That for at least 1 or 2 days you'll be able to play in the water? Because we do have some colder days in the forecast. Like next week, it's going to be like 50s, 60s. So this is fleeting, but it's a little piece of summer. Isn't that cold? I told you it was cold. I would wait a few hours and the sun will warm it up a little bit. Or not. That's like ice cubes. I'm at the point where there's so much to do that you don't really know where to start. But I think what I need to do first is pot up. I have tons of trays of soil blocked tomatoes that I need to get potted up. Just tons. But most of them still look great. And the good thing about tomatoes is that like some of them got too leggy, but I will just plant them deep and they'll be totally fine. That's what I love about tomatoes. They're so forgiving. It's that time of the year where I gotta start protecting my skin because I'm out in it all the time. It's magical though. I've been outside all day for 3 days.
Oh my gosh, I never knew you had a bunch of
You didn't know it was in here?
Oh my gosh, you can take big scoops.
I've switched my game plan. I think that I can make this go by faster if I put them in soil balls. So basically all I'm gonna do is take the little tiny block of tomato, set it on the tray, make a ball around it, and set it down. I watched the No-Till Grower, Jesse Frost from the No-Till Growers. That's how he does all of his tomato, pepper, squash, cucumber, all the summer transplants that you need a bigger, healthy start. He just soil balls it. And it's much faster than the soil blocker because I only have the handheld one, not the big one. But I think I'm gonna fill up this wheelbarrow with soil, wet it down, and then walk it over to my workstation. I'm trying to think about efficiency here. Not very good at that. I've got my little station set up. Now let's get to work. I thought about separating what I'm growing versus seedling sales, and that's just gonna overcomplicate it and I won't be able to do as much as if I just buckle down and do them all the same and then separate them later. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'll show you how I'm gonna do it for the first couple, and then I gotta put a time lapse on because I'm gonna turn some music on and get to work, and I don't want to be copywritten. You know, the coveted sun gold. So I'm just going to see how leggy these got on accident. It happens, you guys. Tomatoes are resilient though. So I'm just gonna break one off, this tiny little square. This would be great if you wanted to try soil blocking and you don't have a soil blocker. I'm just going to sit my tomato right here in the center. Your soil has to be pretty wet for this or it's not gonna stick together. Ta-da! Look, you can't even tell that it was 6 inches long on accident. Plus, this will give the tomato plenty of room for root growth. Once the roots do hit the edge of this, the air will prune it, so it's not gonna wrap around a plastic container. That's the bad part about those growing in like a traditional cup, is because things can get root bound in this. In a soil ball or soil block, the roots don't wind around each other and they don't get root bound, so it makes an overall healthier seedling. This is how I'm gonna plant all of my things that don't like to be transplanted. So squash and cucumbers, I'm going to transplant this year, and I'm just gonna pre-make all these soil balls and then stick the seed in the center. Isn't that cool? And then, so I just have an empty 10-20 tray, and I'm just going to sit it like so. And that's it. So I'm gonna put you guys on a time lapse, but I'm hoping that I can get a lot done because I have a lot. If I have 6 trays of these, if I have 6 trays and each tray holds 240, do the math. That's a lot of things to pot up, so see you in a little bit. When you're done, they should all look like this. Happy little seedlings and little soil balls. I just think that this is the coolest thing. Like, why do we always overcomplicate everything and think that we need the exact tool that so-and-so has or the exact way that they do it when you could just mound up soil around a seedling and it's gonna grow a beautiful, healthy seedling? I don't know. But I'm glad I saw someone do this so that I could copy them, because this is a brilliant idea.
Number first, plant one. Water goes into the soil to plant plants, to grow food for yourself, to survive. Number 2, plants have to get rain and water to plant food. Also, it's going to take a couple days for you to for tomatoes to grow. And number 3, carrots have to grow with water too. Carrots are way healthy than tomatoes and and strawberries. That's way healthy. From strawberries to tomato. That's way healthier than it. Salad helps your brain. In the center of plants, there's little tiny seeds that plant food.